All right, hi everybody. I'm just going to introduce Dr. Cesar Ibarra. He's going to take you through our Aimé Kitchen training.
Okay, guys, how you doing? Like Kevin said, my name is Cesar. I'm the in-house veterinarian for MPF Pet Foods, and I'd like to share with you this quick tutorial video so that you can get acquainted to our products, right? Which is Aimé Kitchen, and it's an oral health formula. We'll start with some pet oral health facts. So according to the AVMA, 80% of dogs, 70% of cats show signs of oral disease by the age of 3, right? Which is pretty soon. Most 90% pet owners brush their own teeth daily, but very few actually brush their pets' teeth. So it's like 8% for dogs and 4% for cats. So it's really, really low. 76% of pet parents agree that their pet's oral health is important, right, to keep them healthy. And this is very, I think it's a very key piece of information, although it's not very, it doesn't add up a lot with the percentage of people actually brushing their pets' teeth. Now, the problem with oral health is bacteria, right? Is the pet's microbiome, which is the ecosystem of microorganisms that live inside of a pet's body, right? We're going to focus, of course, on the microbiome of the digestive tract, which of course begins in the oral cavity, and it contains millions and billions of microbes and other microorganisms, including good and bad bacteria, right? So recently, it's become very abundantly clear to scientists that the composition of this microbiome in the digestive tract, which again, it begins in the mouth, plays a crucial role in overall health and disease prevention. And that is because 70 to 80% of the immune system of pets is located in the digestive tract. And this has to do with the surface area that it's available in the gut, basically. There's a lot of folds and bends in the mucus in the inner gut that allows for a lot of course, nutrient absorption and water absorption, but also for the presence of immunity cells and white blood cells, etc. So it's really, really important to keep the balance and the homeostasis in these areas of the body, right? So when it comes particularly to oral health, harmful bacteria is the main source of most problems, which come with plaque, tartar, and as a consequence, gingivitis, right? So basically, if these problems are unaddressed, they can cause serious illness because this bacteria is going to be able to enter the bloodstream through little wounds and sores in the mouth, and then they might migrate to other vital organs in the body, like the liver, the heart, and the kidneys. And well, I don't know anybody that can live without heart, liver, or kidneys. So it's really, really important to, address the oral health issues. Now, the easiest way to avoid these issues is to deal with the root of the problem, right? What causes them in the first place? So dealing with the harmful bacteria throughout the microbiome along the digestive tract, but of course, starting with the oral cavity is the best way, okay? Now, how do we address this issue, this problem of oral health? Well, we have a three-pronged solution that includes the use of natural zeolites, natural astaxanthin, and natural eggshell membrane, and of course, saliva production. They're all very important and have vital roles in maintaining the homeostasis, which is the inner stability of the body to maintain balance so that it can function properly, right? And that's key. So the first prong would be our zeolites. This is a computer model of what an actual zeolite looks like. You can see it looks kind of like a little cage of sorts, but the way it works is by the polarity of the bacteria and the zeolite itself, right? It's an absorbent, non-toxic volcanic mineral, right? And when they hit the oral cavity, they are catalyzed by our formula and they're released into the system, right? Which happens then is they're going to attract the positively charged bacteria and toxins into their structure. And they do that, or it's possible for them to do that because they're negatively charged, right? Now, if we just remove the bacteria and do nothing else about it, then that leaves a lot of room for other microorganisms to take over, right, and reproduce, and then again it becomes unbalanced, right? So what we do is going to replace the harmful bacteria with multiple probiotics and prebiotics. Now, probiotics are beneficial bacteria that naturally lives in your system, in your gut, right, or in your pet's gut in this case. And then the prebiotics is food for these microorganisms, so that it ensures that they can thrive in this environment you're putting them in, right? So we remove the bad, basically, and then we're going to put the good bacteria. And not only that, but we're going to make sure that they can settle in and start doing the benefits for your pet's health, right? So in many ways, our zeolites are like a magnet for toxins and harmful bacteria, especially the bacteria that causes plaque and tartar in the first place. Our second prong, well, it's natural astaxanthin, which is a powerful antioxidant, and the Nuflex natural eggshell membrane, right, which acts as a powerful anti-inflammatory. Now, this is very, very interesting because these two actually complement each other, right? Antioxidants, the way they work, well, the reason they're good for health is because they're going to neutralize something that is called free radicals, right? So these free radicals are unstable molecules that are in everybody's body, animals and humans, right? And they're unstable because they lack some electrons, right? So they need to steal these electrons from other molecules, and that usually means stealing these electrons from your cells, right? So they can damage the DNA, cell membranes, and other parts of the cell. So if you have too many free radicals, it's very damaging for your body, right? And then, of course, the anti-inflammatory effects of the natural eggshell membrane is going to be really, really helpful. Now, inflammation in itself is not bad, right? So it's a reaction of your body to protect it against basically aggravating circumstances with the environment. Like if you bump your knee on a bench, it's going to hurt, it's going to get swollen, but in a couple of days, it's going to go away. The problem with oral health and inflammation is that it doesn't go away. It becomes chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation can give us problems, right? Our own immune system, our own defense cells can start eating up or destroying or damaging healthy tissues, right? So because tartar is like cement or cement-like material that is stuck on your pet's tooth, and it's aggravating the gums and other tissues around it, the inflammation is always present, it's always under stress, right? So when your cells are under stress, they will naturally produce free radicals, right? So that's where the natural astaxanthin comes into place, and it's going to neutralize them. And then the eggshell membrane is going to reduce inflammation, which is going to reduce the number of free radicals that are available in your oral cavity on your pets, right? So they work as a team, and they take care of that part. And that's without even starting to mention the pain and discomfort that the tartar and gingivitis can cause for your pet, right? So it's proven in medicine that dealing with pain is super important to improve the prognosis in the treatments of different illnesses, right? So this is key. And then, of course, by doing this, we're heightening the pet's immune response. We're reducing the tissue damage from gums and teeth, and of course, pain, right, and discomfort, like I said. Now, our third prong is the support of saliva production. And this one in particular, it's very important because it's going to be the main reason, or the main part of our formula that's going to help maintain the homeostasis within the mouth, right? If we think of your pet's body, you know, and it being in constant stress from the environment, the first line of defense, of course, is going to be the skin, but the second line of defense is going to be the entrances to the inner side of your body, right? And that would be the oral cavity, you know, your nose, the eyes, pretty much, right? So saliva has a very important role in the defense system of your body. Why? Because it has many multifunctionality components that are going to deal not only with the digestive part of the oral cavity, of breaking down food and making a bolus and then sending it down the digestive tract, but also dealing with bacteria, fungi, and viral components as well from the start, and also with pH, lubrication, and the protection and maintaining of the enamel of the teeth, for example, and the bone structures and ligaments of the tooth, right? So here in our little image, we can see there's different components. It's not all of them, but it's some of the most important ones. We're going to have some enzymes like the amylases and the lipase. The amylases are going to help break down starch, carbohydrates, right? And lipase is going to take care of lipids or fats, right? Now we're going to have, for example, here carbonic anhydrases that's going to help buffering with the pH. And then we have a lot of proteins, and that's where you're going to see the cystatins and histidines and statharins. Now these are all proline-rich proteins, and well, for example, the cystatins can inhibit the replication of bacteria and viruses, right? So stopping them from damaging your body from the very beginning when they're trying to get into your body or into your pet's body, right? So they're super important. Histidines also are going to have antifungal properties, and statharins are very, very important because they're going to help protect the tissues in your oral cavity, in your pet's oral cavity. They're going to prevent the precipitation of calcium, for example, which is very important in the production or the formation of tartar. And of course, if you have the right concentration of all of these key components in saliva, it's going to be easier to maintain a healthy oral cavity, right? Now, saliva also has some immunoglobulins, particularly immunoglobulin A, which is part of the immune system, some white blood cells, which are also, or are usually referred to like the soldiers of your body. They're going to attack the bacteria or the viruses that enter your body, right? So all of this is very important. So when we talk about oral health, well, mostly we hear about fresh breath and clean teeth, but as you can see, it's not just about that. It's more about keeping balance of microbial populations, the right concentration of these key components of saliva that is going to maintain a healthy oral cavity. And of course, if you, as a added benefit, can deal with inflammation and the free radicals that are there, well, you're going to be addressing the problem from a holistic point of view, or in other words, in a very complete way, right? From the chart above, like you can see, these different components of saliva don't just do one thing. They are like multi-purpose, right? They're going to address different problems at the same time. And in recent studies, you can even see some of these components that are in saliva also in other mucous membranes of the body, like for example, the upper respiratory tract, and their functions against virus and bacteria are very similar. Now, our dog products, right? We have holistic chicken, turkey, and salmon. Now, they're called holistic turkey, chicken, and salmon because it's the first ingredient that we use on each of them. It's fresh and it's sourced in Canada. The second one is dehydrated turkey, chicken, and salmon. So it's basically the meat, just take the water away, which is, of course, a whole food. There's no meal or anything like that. It's formulated by a PhD animal nutritionist to support optimal oral health, particularly. And it's crafted in small batches as well. Why is this important? Because it's easier to ensure freshness of the product. If you have large quantities of food being produced, it just complicates things, and keeping it fresh is going to be really, really difficult, right? So in this case, we rather produce the small batches more frequently than have large quantities of it being produced and risk compromising the freshness. So the sizes we have available are 2 kilogram and 12 kilogram for this purpose. Freshness. They have no grains or artificial ingredients, which is of course very good for your pet's health, and they're made in Canada, right? So it's really, really good. On the other hand, cat products, anybody that has cats at home or has dealt with cats, they're just finicky when it comes to eating. If they don't like something, they're just going to stay away from the food. And that's one of the reasons why we decided to go for the air-dried food, basically the chicken cod and turkey salmon. Again, fresh products, fresh ingredients, sorry, and they're all sourced in Canada. They're formulated by the same PhD animal nutritionist. And the reason is palatability. Like I said, like it keeps the true taste of meat that cats love and want. And it's like a jerky style, semi-moist food that is gonna drive them crazy. Basically, it's really, really attractive for our feline friends, right? It's again crafted in small batches for the same reason, to ensure freshness. In this case, we have 397 grams options for a kilogram. And it contains no grains, which cats do not need, and no artificial ingredients. Made in Canada as well. Now, trying to discuss a little bit about daily feeding costs. When it comes to dogs, the chicken and turkey formula goes from a 22-pound adult dog. The Canadian would be spending $2.6 per day. And if we talk about a large dog like a German Shepherd, 110 pounds, that would be an $8.8 per day. The salmon formula is even a little bit cheaper. So it would be from $2.4 to $7.7 per day. And for cats, chicken and cod would be $2.2 per day, and 3.3 in the case of an 8.8 pound cat. For the turkey salmon, it's 2.26, so it's barely a difference there, and $3.43 per day for the larger cat, right? This is relevant because on average, the Canadian spends $35 per day on food. So it's a really good deal. And I mean, this is not even starting to talk about the benefits of dealing with oral health before it starts, and you know how much money in vet bills and professional dental procedures you're going to be saving. So it's, in my opinion, it's a very, very good option. Sometimes professional prophylaxis, dental prophylaxis can go from several $100s to a few thousands, depending on the severity of the illness. Right, so the roll-up, it's formulated by a PhD animal nutritionist to support optimal oral health with a complete three-pronged approach, right? So not just the symptoms or the signs of the disease, but what causes it in the first place, right? For that, we're removing the bacteria, which is the cause of the disease. We are dealing with the secondary effects with inflammation and the free radicals that we discussed, boosting the immune system and protecting the tissues in the oral cavity, and of course, promoting saliva production, which is going to ensure that all of these key components of saliva, enzymes, proteins, are going to be there to ensure that everything is kept healthy and in check, right? We use whole ingredients with fresh meats as the first ingredients, and they're sourced in Canada. And we have no grains or artificial ingredients. Coming soon, we'll also be offering wet dog and cat food. So that's also going to be very interesting, and we'll be sharing more information on that on a future video. Right, guys? So if you have any questions, please feel free to approach any of our MPF pet food representatives, and hope to see you soon again. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Doc.